All right, film students, there aren't that many websites that I've been to that make me go, wow, this is awesome. You know me, I'm a reserved fellow. But Pond5 is one of those websites that absolutely makes me go, wow, uh, that is awesome. So I want to show you why it's awesome and how you can use it to, especially you who might be interested in being an editor or taking the class at the HL level where you have to edit your own trailer. You need to get some practice editing, and sometimes that's hard to do because you have to have footage or sound effects or music to edit with. And it's not always the right time, or you don't have the right access to the equipment, especially over the summer, to do that. So I'm going to show you this website that you can use to be as creative as you want to, and it's totally free if you know how to use the website. So Pond5, from what I've seen, is basically a repository for stock video footage, music, sound effects, and a few other things. I want to focus on music, sound effects, and footage for this particular demo. Now, Pond5 does charge for a lot of the content on their site, but as I'm going to show you, there's a lot of free content that's in the public domain, which means that you can use it for learning purposes and things like that without charge. There's some great stuff on there, and you can have a lot of fun with it. So I want to show you how to access that. So let's first of all go ahead and look for some stock footage. So I'm going to click on footage. Okay. And then what I want to do is I want to go over here when this screen comes up. I want to go and click on, because I want to search through the public domain. Now they've got a lot of awesome 4K footage, red camera footage, aerial footage, but you have to pay for all of that, and you're probably not wanting to pay, $50 for a drone shot. So let's go over here to the public domain. Now, what you'll notice about this public domain footage, first of all, is that it's free. Second of all, a lot of it is really high resolution. Some of it is actually 4K resolution. This would be 1080p resolution. When you scroll over the footage, it will kind of autoplay and preview the footage for you. A lot of these are very short clips, like 10 to 15 second clips. And you'll notice that a lot of these are very old. Now, hence the fact that they're free. You're not going to find, footage shot with a red Scarlett camera in this public domain section. However, you'll find a lot of really interesting footage. Here are military soldiers practicing. I don't know what they're practicing. Let's see. This is a pilot. He's saying something. I don't know what he's saying. There's a pilot getting out of the aircraft. We can see more here. A lot of this looks like it was kind of shot in the 60s or maybe World War II era. Again, the content is not really as important as being able to access this footage and piece it together, edit it together in an interesting way. And of course, you can add sound effects. Like you could experiment with adding Foley to this particular clip, where looks like the gentleman is hammering something into the wooden beam there. So you could create your own sound effects. The sky's the limit with a lot of this stuff. So if you find something that looks interesting, that looks like you might want to use it, then you just click this plus button and add it to your shopping cart. Now, when you go to checkout, you do have to create an account. It is free to create an account, but you just have to create an account to be able to download anything. Once your shopping cart is full, you'll go to the cart. I believe is up here. Yes, and then you'll go through the checkout process and notice the cost is $0. So that's a way to get a lot of great stock footage, a lot of interesting stock footage in my opinion, a lot better than just scouring YouTube. Now let's go on to music. And again, we want to search in the public domain. And again, you'll see that a lot of this music is not necessarily, you know, of the highest quality, but a lot of it is very interesting. We have a folk song here. Let's just play this. Okay, so we have a little folk song there. Let's see, we have dogs barking, maybe? Maybe not.
What do you know about dogs? Man said to me.
Sound called dogs. Let's see. Barbara Allen. Ooh, that's a great one.
In Charlottetown, where I was born.
We also have some classical music. Here's Chopin. So you can see that in this public domain section, again, you're not getting, you know, the most recent or the highest quality recordings, but they have an interesting quality to them. And you could, you know, one of the things that is the challenge with an editor or a filmmaker is putting content together, cutting it together in interesting ways, and creating interesting juxtapositions. So, you know, you could totally take some of these older sounding songs and use them in an interesting way over your footage to create kind of a clever juxtaposition of an old song with, you know, sort of in the way that some films will take a kind of folksy, upbeat song and overlay it onto a very serious or dramatic scene to kind of create that dissonance that can be interesting in film. All right, so one more thing I want to show you, which are sound effects. All right, and again, we want to search in the public domain. Here's one, Apollo 11, the Eagle has landed. Let's play that.
Listen, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
That would be great for a video that we made with our drone. The Eagle has landed. Hopefully not for the last time, right? Here's some news footage, I think.
World News Today, brought to you by the Admiral Corporation, makers of Admiral Radio, America's smart set. By shortwave broadcast direct from important overseas stations.
Let's try some wolf howls. Wow, I have some wolves. I have some wolves near my house, and that's exactly what they sound like. So again, a lot of cool sound effects that you can do as well. So I encourage you, especially if you're wanting to go further with editing, and if you're going to take the film course at HL, which means you'll have to cut together your own trailer for your film next year, you need practice. And you just need to get into Final Cut and play with it, and attempt to cut together some footage and kind of see what, you know, the program feels like to use and what the features are that you can do. And so this is a great site to go to, Pond5, to find content quickly so that you can focus more on practicing and assembling something that's fun, interesting, creative, rather than having to wait for someone to film some content that you could actually put together. So, and I could see some of this giving you some inspiration for the films that you'll make next year, especially when you start to, you know, sometimes when you just take, you know, some random footage like this and try to make some meaning out of it, it can give you a different sense of what's possible to do with film, and especially with the editing process itself, how editing can create meaning where previously there was no meaning. And that goes back to the idea that we talked about with montage. And, you know, and Hitchcock was famous for this, as we saw, where, you know, you can juxtapose two different images, and because of their placement side by side in a film, it suggests a meaning or a connection that may not have previously existed when those two shots were just separate entities. So I highly recommend this site. That's something I've newly discovered. And of course, you can also kind of look through some of the photos. I didn't really get to that, and they also looks like they also have some Photoshop files. I don't know, what is in the public domain there, but feel free to browse this site and let your creativity and then also your editing skills grow with these resources. All right, have fun.